everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm doing a first impressions. I can't even remember the last time I've done one of these videos, and I'm excited. Today we are doing I'm doing a first impressions on the new No.7 foundation. No.7 is a UK brand, it's a Boots brand, and it's hard to find them here in the States, but I know Target, if you do have a Target in your area, sells some of the No.7 line, and this is the Airbrush Away foundation. I saw it at my Target, and it says right on the box, new, so I wanted to try it because I have enough foundations. It's not that I need this item right now, but we're getting into the summer months, and I tend not to wear a lot of makeup during those months. And I mean, I wear a lot of makeup, but for my base, I like to go very light and feel like I have nothing on my skin. And right now in my collection, the only one that I have that kind of fits that description is my MAC Face and Body, which I love this. This is such a great foundation. However, I find that even though this has a natural finish and it is buildable, it does have more of a luminous finish on me. I am a normal to oily skin type. I get very oily in my T-zone, especially in the summer. So I wanted something that I wouldn't necessarily have to powder, because I definitely have to powder with the Face and Body. That was a long-winded intro. Not quite sure why you needed all that information, but we're gonna get into the product right now, and I'll read off, you know, some of the claims, that kind of thing. It does say that it is for all skin types. It does give a medium coverage. It's supposed to blur fine lines and pores for a velvety, smooth skin. It is hypoallergenic, which is important to me because, you know, I sometimes find that some foundations itch me, and I know that I have like a little irritation to it. So let's see. Flawless and smooth looking skin in every light. Create your perfect complexion with this incredibly light feeling foundation. Gliding over the skin like liquid silk, it delivers buildable coverage whilst blurring the appearance of fine lines and pores. That's some serious claim right there. I hope that is the case. Velvety, smooth to touch, and ultra comfortable for wear. Skin looks ready for its close-up. Clever optical blurring powders give a velvet yet radiant finish, like your complexion has been placed into soft focus. It's fragrance-free with Berry Flux Vita to hydrate and care for your skin. It's non-pore blocking. Airbrush your way to perfect skin, no retouching required. Woo! Okay, well, I hope all of those things actually happen on my face. It does say, for best results, always shake before use. To draw the foundation up into the dropper, ensure that the cap is fully screwed down. Squeeze the bulb gently to dispense a few drops onto the back of your hand. And then, starting from the center of the face, blend outwards using fingers or a brush. Hyperallergenic, because all skin can have sensitive moments. All our foundation products are hyperallergenic, so they are kind to even the most sensitive skins. Okay, so here is the packaging. This is the little bottle. It is a dropper type bottle, and that to me just means it's going to be a very thin, liquidy product. And yeah, it's not super liquidy like the Face and Body, but when you shake it up, you do hear a little bit, but it is thicker than the Face and Body if I were to compare the two. Okay, so I'm gonna use a brush. I'm gonna grab the Morphe M439, and I am going to use a primer on half the face. The Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer, and I'm gonna put this on half of the face. And I don't actually ever put this on the whole face. It's really just a little bit for the pores around my nose, on my nose, forehead, here in the chin. So I'm really just putting a little bit on. I'm gonna grab, I shook up the bottle already. Give it another shake. Do what they say, and I'm gonna put a tiny amount here on the back of my hand. So there you go. As you can see, it is a thinner consistency because it just kind of runs down the hand. So I'm gonna just dab my brush in once. Oh, and by the way, I got Cool Ivory. I hope that's going to be a match. Okay. So already I can see that it is giving that velvety finish. As soon as I applied it, I could tell. Things definitely look a little bit more blurred. I'm definitely gonna need more than what I squeezed out here. I wonder if I just put a few drops on my brush. I like the way this feels. Even with the brush, you know how sometimes you put on a foundation, you can kind of feel something sliding? This feels very silky. I'm gonna see if I can build this up with my fingers and see how that feels. And I've only used a few drops. I'm not using a lot of this product. I feel like I have a hair on my, there we go. Let's try to build this up. You pat it in. If you use your fingers and kind of pat it in, it definitely builds up a little bit more coverage. I would say this is a light to medium. My camera stopped recording, so I don't really know where I got cut off. So if something's weird in the video, I apologize. I just kept rambling on. I didn't even realize my video isn't even recording. But I grabbed another brush. This is the Morphe E7, and I just started patting it in a little bit just to see if this could be a foundation that is better applied using a pressing motion as opposed to a buffing motion. I rarely ever feel like when I'm trying a foundation, I immediately think, wow, I love how this is applying. I mean, even some of my favorite foundations, like the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, I love that foundation, but I always have to finish it off and kind of look, and it's not that it's amazing to apply. It's like any other foundation. I just love the finish that it gives. But this one, I love how this applied. It felt like silk. Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna love this. Okay, first impressions. I may be jumping the gun a little bit. We have to see how this wears. I'm gonna go throughout my day. Right now, I have built up a decent amount of coverage, but you can still see my skin. You know, I have a couple little dots here, which I'm not quite sure what's going on, if I'm irritated to a product I'm using, but yeah, I have an old blemish here that's finishing up, and you can still see my skin. You can see some of my freckles. This is a perfect coverage for me. It is not full coverage. I don't even feel like I have foundation on. It is, I wouldn't say it's tacky. It feels like skin. It feels like you just put on a serum or a moisturizer, and I think I'm gonna like this. Okay, so I've put the rest of my makeup on, and already my first impressions, this foundation is fabulous. I love it. I love the way it applied. The finish is silky and gorgeous. I feel like I don't have a lot of makeup on. You know, as I was applying the powders and concealers, nothing seemed to bunch up or, you know, affect anything. They all worked together. I definitely used less concealer, even though this isn't a full coverage foundation. I just didn't think I needed a whole lot of concealer. I felt like my skin was bright and looked even and fresh. Wow, I've never been so blown away by a first impressions with a foundation before like I am with this sucker. It is beautiful. Now, the biggest test for me is going to see how it wears. I have an oily T-zone. I always get the most wear and tear around my nose, the forehead, you know, any areas that get oily, I start to break down foundation. So I want to see how this performs as I start to produce more oil. I did lightly set my face with powder, but I did not go crazy. I really wanted to see how this performed without a lot of mattifying powder on. I'll come back right now. What time is it? It's about 12:17 in the afternoon. So I'm probably gonna have some lunch and do some baking and cooking for the week. This is my day off, so I have to get some things done, and that will be a perfect test because I'll be in the kitchen with the heat of the oven and all that, and we'll see how this starts to work throughout all of that. And I'll be back at the end of the day to let you know my final thoughts on this product. Okay, so we're back here. It's towards the end of the day. It's a little after 6:30 right now, so I've had the foundation on for about 7 hours, which I think is pretty much you know, a good representation of how it's going to last. And like I said, I was baking and cooking, so I was overheat. And final thoughts, I love this foundation. I'll continue to use it, obviously, and things can always change with foundations as you wear it. So I am a little shiny here in the T-zone, but not bad at all. And what I've noticed is I've gotten some wear here around the nose, which is totally normal for me. I'm always blowing my nose. I always have a runny nose, so I'm constantly using tissues. So that's normal for me to get the wear there, but nowhere else. I mean, a little bit here around the jawline for me, maybe resting my arm, doing some computer work, that kind of thing. But it hasn't broken down, you know, it looks good on the skin still. It's something where I could just put a little powder on and kind of freshen up. So I'll actually do that now. Let me just grab my Bourjois Healthy Balance powder just to see, make sure this doesn't look cakey. So I'm just gonna get a tiny amount and I'm just gonna hit those areas that are a little shiny just to mattify it a little bit. And even the powder, putting that on, sometimes things can get a little cakey if you were to put powder on throughout the day. Anything that's kind of broken up, that powder kind of clings to it a little bit. It doesn't look like that. And usually I get some wear on the forehead and things start to break up. It has not broken up at all on my forehead. If you haven't guessed already, my final thoughts is I give this product 2 thumbs up, a huge 2 thumbs up. I love this and I'm going to continue using this. This has easily already, I mean, I know I need to continue using it some more and more with other products and that kind of thing, but so far this is blowing all the other foundations in my collection out of the water. I mean, this is just a beautiful finish. So just to recap, the silkiness and that velvetyness, it feels gorgeous going on the skin. It's worn very, very well on someone of my skin type. Again, I am a normal to oily skin type and I do always get little dry areas here and there. It didn't cling to anything. As far as the primed side and the non-prime side, I didn't see any difference. That was just using one primer. I'll definitely try different primers going forward. I think this is a foundation you could definitely get away with not using a primer. I didn't see extra wear on this side of my face compared to this side. I'm gonna use my Nivea Post Shave Balm next and test that out because that's one I put all over the face as opposed to just the T-zone. I would definitely like to see how this works on super oily skin. So midsummer when it's 90 degrees, pure humidity, I'm curious to see how this held up because a little oil poked through, but not bad at all. So I would be curious to see if someone with super oily skin would like this formulation, but it isn't a dewy finish. It's more of like a satin finish. It almost looks a little matte. I would say it's almost a satin matte finish. Definitely unique, the texture. I haven't tried anything like it, but yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm glad I picked it up. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried this. I would love to hear your thoughts, if it worked for you, if it didn't work for you. And yeah, I think that's it for me today. 2 big thumbs up. Love this foundation. Excited to continue using it. And if you liked this first impression, don't forget to give that like button a hit. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, you know where that button lives. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Okay, so let's go on to lashes. I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Butterfly Sculpt. This is a new one. I am going to do a review on this. I've only used it a couple times, but it has a very weird shaped wand, if you can see here.